How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the ZnZerna Music Hour. My name's P.T. Burnem, and I'm hosting as usual. If you're out there and you feel the urge, give me a quick hello in the chat. I'm out here floating in space, and feel free to let me know if there's anything wrong with my spacecraft. We got an exciting night tonight. I want to start it out by saying thank you to Cold Rhymes and Dan Keach for remaining inspirations. Hey, all is very well out here in orbit. We've got some tools set up for some good journeys, and I'm really excited to share them with you. So, shout outs to Cold Rhymes, Dan Keach, my man Aaron Brookshire, M.C.N.I, who I've been doing some work with. Very, very cool stuff going down. I've got some remixes from that going on tonight, and some stuff from the sessions I've been doing with MC Homeless. We're going to take a slow journey out. And I got some synthesizers set up. Whew. It's a lot to manage. There's a lot of new stuff going on, but I think I got it organized pretty good. Once again, my name's P.T. Burnem. This is the ZnZerna Music Hour, and we're about to get started. There's some things I have to announce. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's wild. In Malden? Malden is a wild spot to play. We always played that Ale House. Was it the number 9 Ale House? Yeah. Oh. Woo. Well, it's good to see you. And tonight we're just going to be taking a journey through some of the stuff we've been working through. Matt is a really good friend of mine, and working with him has been really excellent lately because he's been reminding me to take the raps a little less seriously in terms of you don't have to be a philosopher every time that you hit the mic. You can, just rap to rap. It's fun to rap, and it can be a lot of fun, so, just do it that way. Sometimes that's the best. I got some stuff that I could kick maybe. We'll see. But definitely going to go out there. We've got some very special stuff tonight. Also, I want to say Greenville, North Carolina, this Sunday, I'm going to see you with Gull. Very exciting. If you know who Gull is, incredible performer. I want to show you some of the stuff we got. This is the basic setup as usual. We've got the Pulsar being run by the Electron model samples. We've got a little bit of delay going on the vocals if I would like. And over here we've got the Make Noise Trio, the No Coast, and the No Control, and the Strega. I meant to get my list up. If anybody can pop a link real quick to that show in Greenville, it would be super appreciated. I might even send you a sticker. Speaking of which, we have a sticker reveal tonight, and I'm really excited about it. All right, before we get into it, gonna go to the breather. Gonna take a breath before we really get into it. Oh, but before that, one more camera angle. This is probably a little hard to see, but nope, this, you can see it. This is Thing 1 in its new incarnation. I'm gonna probably cut some extra lights during the breather. And as you can see, we got the golden apple bell hanging there. We got the shaker on the right, the bell right above that, and then off in the corner we've got this crash cymbal. So we're going to do a little bit of analog drum machine sequencing right after the breather. I'll see you in a moment. All right, all ready to go. Putting in some work on that model samples, getting things started rhythmically. The drums are being handled by the pulsar, driven by the electron through MIDI, and that's also driving Thing 1. So you'll see that in a minute. Okay, so what we got right now is light, but no motion. And that's because on the pulsar, I've got an LFO that's deciding how often during the pattern that bell is going to go off along with the hats. So as I turn this knob up, ooh, I like that better. Now if I turn the knob way up, it'll go with basically every single hat. Only missing some because it misfires if it gets a signal when it's still out. I like it where we had it though. What's happening is that LFO is being reset at an interval that is in direct relation to the loop. So it's got a sort of strange, inconsistent sound, but that inconsistency is consistent over the period of the loop. That bell has been a little lackluster. I think I misjudged a little bit of the striking action. A little better. Welcome to the ZnZerna Music Hour. You can see the electron moving, the sequencer. You can put any kind of action you like in there.
They call me Yeti Monster, I'm just a fucking monster.
And we're gonna throw these crash cymbals in.
They call me Yeti Monster, I'm just a fucking monster. Performance of the year, I think I need an Oscar. My skin is kinda pale, I'm sleeping in a coffin. They call me Yeti Monster, I'm just a fucking monster. Performance of the year, I think I need an Oscar. My skin is kinda pale, I'm sleeping in a coffin. You know I'm out for blood, and now it happens often. They call me Frankenstein and chase me out of town like Nazis with some torches. Now I cannot be found. They call me Brother Chucky. I guess I'm kind of lucky. I'm married to a doll, and now the future's ugly. You know I'm just a freak. Why don't you let me speak? I'm tearing out your guts. This isn't for the weak. Crowd out your VCR for like a CDR. Stuck in your basement chain. This is a world of pain. I'm sawing up the place. Got strength like Leatherface. We worship Baphomet. Slap you like Pastor Mace. We hide bodies now. Out in the twilight zone. We creatures of the night. And we don't have a home. Have a home. Have a home.
What up? Fousey. I really like that balance the ham shit. Keep your ham balanced. does. Yeah, that's a gift from Aaron Brookshire. And we'll be getting to some of that stuff that we've been working on lately. They call me Eddie Munster. They call me
now it happens often. They call me Frankenstein and chase me out of town like Nazis with some torches. Now I cannot be found. They call me Brother Chucky. I guess I'm kind of lucky. I'm married to a doll, and now the future's ugly. You know I'm just a freak. Why don't you let me speak? I'm tearing out your guts. This isn't for the weak. Crowd out your VCR, burn like a CDR. Stuck in your basement chain. This is a world of pain. I'm sawing up the place. Got strength like Leatherface. We worship Baphomet. Slap you like Pastor Mace. We hiding bodies now, out in the twilight zone. We creatures of the night, and we don't have a home.
I wonder what's going to happen if we turn that, if we make the bell going a lot with the hats. Ooh, kind of keeping up. Check this out. But it's really not making that much of a ding. A nice little quickie though.
I'm just a fucking monster. Performance of the year. I think I need an Oscar. My skin is kinda pale. I'm sleeping in a coffin. You know I'm out for blood, and now it happens often. They call me Frankenstein and chase me out of town like Nazis with some torches. Now I cannot be found. They call me Brother Chucky. I guess I'm kinda lucky. I'm married to a doll, and now the future's ugly. You know I'm just a freak. Why don't you let me speak? I'm tearing out your guts. This isn't for the weak. Crowd out your VCR, burn like a CDR. Stuck in your basement chain. This is a world of pain. I'm sawing up the place. Got strength like Leatherface. We worship Baphomet. Slap you like Pastor Mace. We hide in bodies now, out in the twilight zone. We creatures of the night, and we don't have a home.
You mean the bike bell? I don't believe there's a bike horn happening. But I could be wrong. It basically like slips out of place. I'm gonna have to find a way to make them adjustable but non-slip. Yeah, it's another bell actually from Aaron. They can, but unreliably. I'll bet you could find, these are just very rudimentary solenoids. I'm thinking you could find A, faster ones, and B, quieter ones. All right, so I've got some throwbacks real quick. Before the ZnZerna Music Hour was the ZnZerna Music Hour, it was Happy Little Trees, and I would pop up and give advice, a little bit of esoteric music knowledge that I've gathered over the years of doing this. I'm going to try and pop it up now. Let's see if it works. Uh-oh. Okay, maybe it's this one. Yeah, it's this one. All right, Tuesday, time for another Happy Little Trees. This time I want to talk to you about recording, especially recording vocals, and something that I learned from a friend of mine, Isaac Ramsey, called the triple golden layer method. Now, the triple golden layer method is a way of recording vocals. You could use it with any instrument, but the key is that you do 3 solid takes. You do 3 solid takes that are basically similar in the way that they sound. You can do double tracks later to emphasize, or you can, get your weird deliveries on later. But for now, 3 tracks. And the reason that it's called the triple golden layer method and there's this focus on the 3, for me, is that a lot of times you go into the studio and there can be this pressure, and or you might not be completely prepared to do this vocal delivery. So what the triple golden layer method does is prevents you, first of all, it keeps in mind that there's 3 takes, so you don't really have this severe pressure on you to nail it in this one take, like the supreme take. It's like, no, you don't need that pressure. You just deliver it naturally 3 times, and then you pick from those 3. And if you're the type of person that likes to comp, use sections from one take and sections from another take, you can do that sort of thing with these modern DAWs. So the triple golden layer method takes the pressure off of the single take. And what it also does is it limits you to 3 takes, because there's this tendency in the studio to be like, oh, that wasn't quite exactly right, so I'm gonna just do it again and do it again and do it again. Next thing you know, you're on take 50, and not only is it so much harder to select from 50 slightly different takes than just 3, but also once you get past take 4 or 5, or even really past take 3, you're usually a little bit frustrated. You're trying too hard. You're like, oh, it wasn't right. I've got to try harder, and that kind of mentality is not good for natural delivery. And what you're really looking for on any album, even if it's virtuoso stuff, if you're really nailing a bunch of syllables fast, and you've got to have that down before you go into the recording booth, because you don't want it to sound like you're trying on a record. You want it to sound natural. That's how you're really gonna, have the best impact, I think. So, just listen to the great records. They sound natural, even if they're impressive. They don't sound like they're trying to impress you. They sound natural. So, to get that natural feel, the triple golden layer method philosophy, which I've worked on with Eric Akers, and Isaac Ramsey was sort of the originator of this philosophy of vocal recording. Very useful, very handy. I encourage you to pass it on and to use it yourself. Triple golden layer method. Happy little trees. This is Burnem signing off. I hope you all have a wonderful Tuesday. Alright, so let me know if that came out okay. Generally the volume. How long are we gonna run? 45 minutes. Maybe we can make a segue of some sort. I don't know. I'm really enjoying where we're going.
I need an Oscar. My skin is kinda pale, I'm sleeping in a coffin. You know I'm out for blood, and now it happens often. They call me Frankenstein, and chase me out of town like Nazis with some torches. Now I cannot be found. They call me Bride Chucky, I guess I'm kinda lucky. I'm married to a doll, and now the future's ugly. You know I'm just a freak, why don't you let me speak? I'm tearing out your guts, this isn't for the weak. Crowd out your VCR, for like a CDR. Stuck in your basement chain, this is a world of pain. I'm sawing up the place, got strength like Leatherface. We worship Baphomet, slap you like Pastor Mace. We hiding bodies now, out in the twilight zone. We creatures of the night, and we don't have a home. Have a home, have a home, have a home.
I found myself this week dropping a little bit of advice that I got from Dan Keach on a friend of mine, and I really thought that it bared repeating for anyone who's listening. So here's how it is. If you're kind of stuck on a piece of work, it's done, but you're not quite sure of the quality of it. You think that maybe you should leave it behind because it's not exactly what it should be. You don't want to be spending so much more time on finishing it off and changing it and making it something new. And you're trying to decide whether you should release it at all or just let it die out. If you think of it like from the artist perspective, it's easy to see why you might want it to die out because of the quality. Maybe it's like less than you would expect from yourself currently. But if you change your thinking and think about it from the perspective of someone who's a fan, who's discovering your music, imagine one of your favorite artists, and you're listening to all their stuff, and you find like a sort of secret bit that not a lot of people listen to. It's kind of lo-fi, not mixed as well as the other ones, etc. You aren't usually gonna be like, well, this isn't mixed well, I don't like it. A lot of times you're like, I found a secret gem, raw in some way. So if you can think about it from that perspective, from the perspective of someone who's a fan already, looking through your discography, then you'll understand that a lot of stuff that you might not consider releasing from the artist perspective, from a fan perspective, you should absolutely put it out. Even if it's just a free release on your Bandcamp or whatever. Yeah. It really helps a lot. And also it makes the assumption that you're going to have fans, people that like what you're doing, which is a good assumption to have. You should be making music as if you're making it for those people, whether or not 0 of them exist, or 8 of them exist, or hundreds and hundreds of them, or whatever. You're not necessarily making it for them, but in your decision-making process of whether or not to put something out or talk about some things, think about it from their perspective. another piece of advice from my past self. Back when this was Happy Little Trees, and none of this stuff existed. What's going on, everybody? It's time for another Happy Little Trees, Friday the 13th edition. So I want to talk today about how creating something, a piece of art, specifically songs, is like having a kid, and in this way that at first there's infinite potential. A young baby, you look at it and it could be anything. It could grow up to be an astronaut. It could grow up to be, a scientist that saves lives. It could grow up to be a firefighter or a noble poet. Anything. So there's this infinite potential. Same thing with a song. At the beginning of the song, it could go anywhere. You could put a big guitar solo in the middle. You could take them up to flying, soaring heights, or you could dive down deep into the muck. There's infinite potential. Infinite movement is potential, but that is before the thing is real. The process of making a thing real is basically the process of setting boundaries on it. As an example, how do we know this post is this post? The only reason we know that this post is this post and not just everything else is because of these boundaries. Something that has infinite potential is not real. It cannot be discerned in this reality. So to make it discernible, you have to set limitations, boundaries. You have to give it shape, definition, and shape. But once it becomes one definition and shape, it cannot become another definition and shape. It cannot be all shapes at the same time. It must become a shape. And in fact, your job as the artist is to craft that shape. As you craft this shape, or as the child grows, and you're instilling, your values or whatever you want to, you're teaching the child. As the child grows, or as the art piece progresses, more limitations happen on it. It can no longer just be anything. So that feeling of loss of limitlessness can be strange, but the reality is that it's better that it exists. And in order to exist, you must define it. So we're defining it, and we're creating it, and this is one of the basic rules, is that to exist, something must have definition to some degree, and it must not be other things. So you make these decisions and craft the song and shape it, and it can feel like less perfect or less important or glorious than the original dream was. It goes through this stage, especially in the middle stage. This is where it's important to be nourishing to your song or your child, this middle stage where it is losing its infinite potential and has not yet become defined enough to be outstanding and powerful in its own shape. So you're in this midway point. It has not yet become defined and powerful, and it lacks the infinite potential from the beginning. This is where it is important to be the midwife to this song being born, to be the process to create this song and make it real, usher it into shape, make it become. So that's your job as the artist. Once you see what it's becoming, slight guidance, and then, in fact, letting go. Letting go and letting the song be what it is, and not, being ashamed of all the things that it isn't, is the last part of that process where you free it into the world and let it go. And that letting go, like with children, that can be a hard process. That can be something that is difficult to do, but it's so important to do, because the last phase of the song's being is its interpretation by other consciousnesses. And they will interpret those things in such strange ways that you never could have imagined. Not at the genesis, not at the midway point, and not even at the final point where it does have definition. You could never imagine the kinds of interpretations that other minds are going to have. I know we're running a little long today, but I just want to give this one example. I was doing a show in Germany, and this lady came up to me after the show, and she was like, I really, really liked your set, but why are all of your songs about the Holocaust? And of course this floored me. I didn't even know what to say because none of my songs are specifically about the Holocaust. But the way that the person interprets it, you never know. And maybe the way that a person interprets it will be basically incorrect, technically, from what you meant, but will inspire such beautiful things in their mind that it's great that they misinterpreted it. So the fact and the key is that you never know where the song is going to go and what it's going to inspire in the chain reaction of events. So just, be comfortable with that. Let a song be. I will sum it up in this. Let a song be. Rather than make a song be, let a song be. Be the process through which this thing takes form. Anyway, that's it for today. I know we ran a little long. I hope y'all stuck with me. Happy Friday the 13th. Bad luck forever. Bad vision. Yeah, take care of yourself. All right, see you next time. Okay. I really enjoyed that little jam. I think we're going to get into something else now. Switch things up on the sample a little bit. I want to save things. Always want to save. Always want to save. Always want to save. Always want to save. For those of you just joining us, welcome to the ZnZerna Music Hour. My name is P.T. Burnem. Enjoy your vacation, Barry. That audio will be waiting for you when you get back on the Patreon site. For those of you who are not yet Dust Cats, if you want to join in on that, now's the perfect time because you're going to be getting albums every other month. September, November, January. These are previous albums that I've done and worked on with bonus material exclusive to the Dust Cats and a few pre-orders and stuff that you can get live. Man, I'm glad, Barry. hold rhymes in ZnZerna, it's going down. Well, that's lovely, Barry. Well, you are on vacation, so I figure I caught you slipping a little bit. Your senses are down. You're relaxed. All right. Let's blow this one out. Shaker on that. You gotta know when it takes time out. Take it easy. Have a good night, Barry. You deserve to slack. triple blood moon phase. This is the sequel where the gremlins mutate. This is the moment where your nemesis enters the room and every enemy you kill suddenly regenerates. Freak show like a presidential candidate. Happens all the time, 20 years of unstoppable slime. 20 years of unstoppable slime. Dropped off the face of the planet, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't know why. And we're back. Nice to be able to just turn those bell instances down. Especially when they're not even bells. All right. Maybe some new fresh bark. Alright. Subterranean sewer hockey. Body check 'em 'cause the shredder can't stop me. I body check 'em all, nobody beats a turtle with two swords in the tank that shoots pieces. We got these color changing Hot Wheels, hot wire. We hook Sergeant with making probably large tires. I need to do a little more practice before I bust those out. But I really like those opening ones. Subterranean sewer hockey. I body check 'em 'cause the shredder can't stop me. I body check 'em all, nobody beats a turtle with two swords and a tank that shoots pizzas. And Hot Wheels, hot wire. We slaughter Sergeant with impossibly large tires. Oh yeah, we deal damage to any parties involved while y'all creepy crawlers get all caught up in the crossfire. We deal damage to any parties involved while y'all creepy crawlers get all caught up in the crossfire. Carolina, Sunday. Talk to Jeff Blender. Me and Gull. A couple of other folks. You have to excuse me, it's been a busy couple of weeks. Listening to the ZnZerna Music Hour. I hope your Tuesday night is going lovely. To all my artists out there, do not despair. Sometimes things can seem dark. Trying to bring some light. But if you're in the dark, don't worry, you're not alone.
Das gets airborne and injured
very wide.
which looks like the Great Plains dust storm.
Not very wide.
Which looks like the Great Plains dust storm.
Not very wide. Which looks like the Great Plains dust storm. Not very wide. Which looks like the Great Plains dust storm. Not very wide. Which looks like the Great Plains dust storm. Not very wide. Which looks like the Great Plains dust storm. Not very wide. Which looks like the Great Plains dust storm. Not very wide. Which looks like the Great Plains dust storm. Not very wide. Which looks like the Great Plains dust storm. Not very wide. Which looks like the Great Plains dust storm. Not very wide. Which looks like the Great Plains dust storm. Not dust storm or a haboob.
Dust storm or a haboob.
sequencer situation that I got going on. A lot is running from here, but not everything. So I can stop the electron and still have some of my sequence moving because I recorded inside the pulsar rather than the electron. You should look him up. He makes these things. Stuffies. So this next one is called Crumchin Leaves. It's a remix of a track that I'm working on with my man Aaron Brookshire, M.C.N.I. We've been having quite a time building some stuff together. Keep your eye out.
for listening to the ZnZerna Music Hour with P.T. Burnem. Jump on board the Duskcat Dream.
Reluctant to break, I ain't sideshow bar. Stepping on the rake, I'm crunching these leaves underneath my feet. The rain brought the brown water on down to the creek. Cutting the vines, clearing the ivy. Got a cutlass in my hand and my dog on the side me. Try me. Gravel chunks up to the gaps in my shoes. Going all in and we ain't gonna lose. Heading to the bush just to grab a lit fuse. Set it off proper cause we trust no blues.
Aaron Brookshire, M.C.N.I, P.T. Burnem.
Went with the bend, reluctant to break, I ain't sideshow bar. Stepping on the rake, I'm crunching the sleep.
One more time. I feel like we gotta kick it one more time. Oh, but first, I wanted to say shout outs to my man Yanni because we killed it over the weekend with some video shoots, and I cannot wait to show you the stuff that we've been working on. Huge shout outs to Yanni. I can't wait for y'all to see some of his work. So, actually I got one more of a little bit of time travel back to when this was Happy Little Tree. Alright, so I figured while I'm walking to my friend's house, and I was struck by a little inspiration to talk about a technique that I used for this recent album that I've been working on, which I'm calling like the gardening technique, which is like this. Normally when I'm producing and I set out to create a song or a track, what I would do is sort of, build it all from the ground up and spend like 6 hours in a day just making that track. Almost everything from the drums to the main melody, start with the drums, go into the main melody, etc. So the technique that I've been using now is to start like 5 tracks in one day, drum-wise, or melody-wise, whatever. Get 5 tracks ready, because there can be this like sort of single-minded focus on a single track where everything's like super important and like you're just like nervous about what this track could become, or you're just like creating. There can be like these mental roadblocks, at least for me. Sometimes when I'm like super hyper-focused on one song, it sort of like loses its freeness. The process loses its freeness. So with this new gardening technique that I've been using,
You know, I'll start 5 songs in one day, spend, 6 hours starting 5 songs. And then also keeping the last like 30 to 45 minutes of each song or like of the session to labeling and organizing things for the next time that I open it up. And then the next time you go in, basically what I do is I'll choose to either do drums or synth lines or whatever, and I'll pull out all the tools necessary to do those things, and work on 4 or 5 of the tracks, or maybe 3 or 4 of the tracks that I created before. So you're going through and sort of giving each track the same type of nourishment through each, on any given day. Today I'll work on drums and drum patterns and fills and stuff. Do that for 3 tracks, and then the next day doing just melodies, and it sort of helps keep things focused on a technique and an expression style rather than a track itself. Although sometimes I also get into just like slam, 10 hours in one day on one track. But with Breakfast, this new project that I've been working on, I found that is cool once I have the track mostly built from the pieces that I've been doing using the gardening technique, which again is basically just doing the same kind of work on each track in a given day rather than just focusing on one track and multiple kinds of expression with the same time period, if that makes any sense. So just thought I'd relay that bit of technique that I've been using for my songwriting process. Anyway, I hope you're all having a good day.
Welcome back to the present. Thanks, Burnem. Pleasure to have you with us. And we're going to continue on for another 10, maybe 15 minutes. Visitor 10. What's up, my friend? I just gotta say, there's a lot of stuff that's in the works right now. A lot of cool vids and just on a creative level. We have the ball. Cold blood.
You're listening to the ZnZerna Music Hour with P.T. Burnem. Jump on board the Dusk Cat Dream.
Once again, for my Dusk Cats. It's going to be audio of this without my talking. Available all locations on site. Round 5. For everybody else, if you want to see this again, you can tune it in here on the Cold Rhymes Twitch. Or later, you can go to youtube.com/ZnZerna. Or just go to ZnZerna.com for all the information about everything, basically. Illuminate the apple. Viz. You know, like I was saying to you over the phone, I really feel like this life is just part of a cycle of reality, and that maybe eventually oneness can occur. But inside that oneness, if you're one with everything, with no boundaries, there's no such thing as friends. You have to have somebody outside to have a friend. So this might very well be one of the few chances you get to have friends. So if you've got friends, say hello, say you love them. Shout outs to Chris, bro. Travis Allen. I gotta say, thank you to our latest Dust Cat, Brittany Pittman. Welcome aboard the Dust Cat Dream, Brittany. Hopefully you're listening right now. Thanks for your support. The Dust Cat Dream rolls on. Thanks in general. Thank you to all my digicats. Remember to check out patreon.com for that audio. I feel like tonight was particularly juicy. Gotta say thank you to all my ZnZerna cats. S1E33, Penny Creek, Erica P, Lady Delaney. Y'all know what it is. Gotta say, thank you to all my Zerna cats. Austin. What's up? Becca Magsig, thank you. From the bottom of my heart for always being Jen W, HFL. HFL. Hope you're doing good. Queen Cat. Got something in the mail. Sorry we couldn't get to the sticker reveal. But we'll do it next week. Robbie Stout. Dust Cat Dream. P.T. Burnem wouldn't be exactly where it is without you. I appreciate it. Sam. Still gotta get that phone call in. Let's get it. This week. Biz. You already know. Exciting times in the works. Wayne Anderson. Thanks for being a supporter for a long time. Just from saying that you like what I do. Especially Eric Akers, one half of the illustrious Trauma Laverne. It's an exciting year. Lastly, we got Barry, Dog Fuck, My Loomy Cats, floating above the Dust Cat Dream, dropping mana of all sorts. I'm gonna kick once again. My man Aaron Brookshire's verse from Crumchin Quietly. Keep your eyes peeled, ears ready.
We're with the band, reluctant to break. I ain't sideshow Bob, stepping on the rake. I'm crunching these leaves underneath my feet. The rain brought the brown water on down to the creek. Cutting the vines, clearing the ivy. Got a cutlass in my hand and my dogs right beside me. Try me.
Try me. Y'all been listening to this ZnZerna Music Hour. My name's P.T.